NCRP Productions presents the Fireside Chat series. Well, hello there, and welcome back to our Fireside Chat series. Pedro, it's been 5 months. It's been over 5 months since our last chat.
Over 5 months. It feels like a lot's happened and not a lot. It feels like it was just the other day.
Just a whirlwind. Well, hey folks, this is Barry.
Hey, this is Pedro.
And we're going to welcome you back and talk with you and catch you up. I guess we got 5 months to talk about.
Yeah. Let's get into catching up a little bit. So Barry, I want to start with, let's hear what's new with you. Now, you recently, one big thing was you took a trip out of the area.
I did. I don't get to do that a lot. Since COVID, it's been a whole lot harder for me to get out of the area. I went and visited my family a couple of times, but even though that counts for me, that really doesn't count for the podcast. In the sense of the podcast and gaming, I took a trip recently over to Redding, California. While there, I realized I had enough free time that I also dashed down to Chico. So Chico has a university down there, and because of that, they have a few game stores down there and a pretty good comic store. So I went into the one that's downtown. It was a pretty basic store. It had all the things that you expect. I kind of wandered in, and no negatives, but I wasn't approached by anyone. Nobody really talked to me. Nobody said anything, so I kind of looked around and left.
Okay, very serve yourself, please.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so I then headed farther out of town. I came across a place. I did the standard, Google search, game stores near me, and I came across Heroes Corner. Now, again, all of these are in Chico, but this was, boy, I'm terrible with geography. I think this was at the north side, but it could have also been more of the west side. But I went in there. I was greeted by Seth and Nolan. Those happened to be the two guys that were there that day, and we had a great time talking. When I hit other stores, I kind of look at it as what's going on in other places. So for North Coast Role Playing, for the store I've run for the last 32 years, I don't get a lot of chances to see what other people are doing. I buy stuff that sells in the store. If something doesn't sell, I don't tend to keep up with it. And it's always fun to ask other places, how are things going for you? What's doing well? And Seth and Nolan took me on a pretty good walk around the business there.
Cool. What was there anything that stood out as being really popular there that's just not here?
Sort of.
Yeah.
So, give you an idea of the craziness of the world that I'm in. Right now, in our county, there are 7 active stores that sell Magic cards. Basically, I would say the words, there are 7 card stores here. We are a greater area. I mean, we get to call it Greater Bay Area, but it's Humboldt Bay, not San Francisco Bay. But our Greater Bay Area maybe encompasses 110 to 120,000 people, something like that. And again, as I said, we have 7 card stores. Now, compare that to a couple of places I've been over the last few years. Grants Pass has 2 card stores or game stores, if you would call it that. And that has a population well over 65,000 in their close area, which is about half of our total population. Then when you go to Medford, there's 2 great stores down there, Rogue City Comics and Astro Games. And the 2 of them, fantastic stores. If you're in Medford, go in and say hi to Steve and to Aaron. But those 2 stores are it for Medford. Medford's over 125,000. So that one city has the same number of people as our county. Again, 2 stores there, 2 card stores there. We have 7. It is insane up here. So I really never have an idea how things are going here because nobody really has a handle on anything. One store does Pokemon, another store is doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Everyone's selling Magic, but you don't get a real feel for what things are. And if somebody, because we're a small community, a fairly insular community, if somebody gets angry at one store and pulls the Pokemon guys from that store, they may go somewhere else. And now you got 15 guys that move from here, and there's now 5 guys here. Are they 5 of the 15? So over there, what stood out for me is at Heroes Corner, they had a lot of in-store gaming. So he was telling me the list, and I apologize, it's been a little while since I was there, and I didn't write a whole lot of stuff down, but I know that they have in-store Warhammer 40K, they have Magic Nights, they have D&D nights. They're running the whole gamut. And it's nice to see that. It's really nice to see that because we don't really get that up here other than at my store. The other places up here don't tend to go into everything as these stores do. So it was fun to see that, and it was fun to see the excitement of two guys. They don't know me. I mean, I've introduced them, I've given them a business card, but they don't know me. And we just had a lot of fun talking. I felt like I had some fun learning a few things they were doing different than us. In our area, there's a small group of people playing this new card game, newer, Flesh and Blood.
Yeah. Oh, I tried that actually. Yeah, it's
great
really
game.
Fun. Yeah,
everyone around us. In fact, Dave, who game masters a number of our games, absolutely loves the game, and we have a pretty good core of players in our area, even to the point where one of our players has been traveling to the bigger competitions. When asked over there, they said that they didn't have a group playing, and I did not see Flesh and Blood at the downtown store, so I don't think it's hit over there, which is just interesting. You know, whereas on the other side of it, we have almost no Yu-Gi-Oh! Up here that's not covered by Target and Walmart. And there, they had a large Yu-Gi-Oh! Contingent. So just that. Really that. Just seeing the differences between my store and theirs.
Actually, that point's actually really interesting. I haven't paid much attention to like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene around here. I guess it has. I haven't seen anything like Yu-Gi-Oh! Really, except for like
I think it's been 15 years at least since we had our large Yu-Gi-Oh! Contingent playing here. We had people that went and competed at Worlds.
Oh.
Worlds from my store. So it's definitely changed. I know that there are people buying Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if there are people playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I literally don't know, but I don't see people playing it like they used to.
To be honest, they recently came out with the newest Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game online. Super fun, free to start. You know, you can earn your gems to get, you know, your basic game like that, your pay to win kind of stuff. But some of the new mechanics, I swear, Barry, first turn, when you can go first turn and get like multiple 8-star creatures out.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what am I doing? Like, you know, there's so many new rules, and mind you, I'm a little behind, but at the same time, that's not very fun.
We talk about power creep in games like Palladium's Rifts. That's some serious power creep.
Yeah. So it made me realize, like, as much as I enjoyed it back 15 years ago, those guys that went to Worlds probably beat me at your shop.
Pretty good chance.
So now, look, I just dabbled a little bit, and I was like, yeah, it'd be fun to play with my old cards where they're still, like, not crazy, whatever the hell that linking stuff is.
Right.
XYZ, I don't want to deal with that.
So then, from Hero's Corner, I went to Collectors Inc. Now, Collectors Inc., I got to speak with Jason for quite a while, and Collectors Inc. has been there a very long time. If I'm to understand them correctly, they are one of the oldest comic stores, if not the oldest comic store, in that entire area. My brother attended school at Chico State, and from what I understand, they may have been there since he attended school. So, very long time. And their store, there's everything. And I feel bad. Jason explained to me that the COVID kind of put them behind on things. And in the best possible way, he has everything in piles. And I say the words everything first because that was the first thing I thought. When I walked in that store and I looked around and I was like, wow, in that pile there's this item, and in this pile there's this item, and he had just stuff everywhere. And as we got to talk, he was letting me know that he has more that's not even here at the store, or is not even on the floor for display, because they've just run out of room.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fun talking with him. He brought me to their back room. They also have a gaming room, although they have a separate dedicated gaming area that they play in, and I got to see the layout for the D&D and some of their dungeon stuff and their monster figures, and it's a really neat room in the back. So if you're going into Collectors Inc. and you want to start gaming, I think that's a great place to start. I don't know anything about how they work on bringing new people in, but if you can get in, I think you would have a lot of fun playing there too.
That sounds like a blast. I love personally like rummaging through like garage sales and stuff. So if there's like a pile of something to look through, I'm there.
You're gonna look through it.
I'm like I see that pile. I'm like, I really want to know what's down there.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, so those are pretty cool. A couple new things on my end.
Yeah, we need to hear some stuff from you.
Yeah, so one...
Did you get to travel?
No, I didn't get to do anything as neat as travel like that. One fun thing on my end is I recently picked up art again, so like drawing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's been fun. Started off just mechanical and just like throwing it around because I used to when I was a kid draw like a bunch, and you know they were kid drawing, so they weren't anything special, I thought. And then in about 6th grade, I started seeing what other kids did who probably just practiced more, to be honest.
I'm sure.
And then I was like, wow, I am nowhere near as good as that. I should pick something else to do.
It's something else to be good at?
Yeah, so, you know, and in years of having, you know, picking other things, I finally was like, okay, you know what, let's just stick with it, just kind of draw here or there. And then recently just started noticing I was getting better and better. And then if you follow me on social at all, you'll probably have seen a few of the pieces that I put out. Like one of them that I was the most happy about, I drew myself inspired by the Infinity Gauntlet comic cover.
Pedro is Thanos?
Yeah, but I was like, okay, let's just see how crazy I can get. And I wanted to make it Dungeons and Dragons related, so of course Infinity Gauntlet instead is dice. So instead of the stones, we got each of the die.
Oh,
luckily,
perfect.
the whole set fits perfectly, like magic.
Right.
And then I thought spice it up a bit instead of just copying the gauntlet. I made it a redwood gauntlet because we're out here in the behind the redwood curtain.
Behind the redwood curtain. That's part of our name.
And I got done with it, and I looked at it, and I was like, I didn't draw this, so. And that's not a brag. That's more just to like hold, like I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That, oh my God, practicing actually makes you better. So I'm excited because I have multiple things that I wanted to be able to put onto paper that now I actually have a chance to because
I think that's great. And I'll tell you, for the people at home that are listening, I'm acting surprised, but in reality, I've actually gotten to see a few of the things Pedro's done. He's done some more of the cover plates for some of our upcoming things, so hopefully you will get to see those and just see where that artwork has gone to.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then 2 of the other drawings that I did, sticking with the theme of comic books, were actually for another project that I'm starting on the side with.
You're doing a side project? You're moonlighting on me, Pedro?
Here or there. I made sure to let them know I can't have any conflicts between the two of them. So, but no, another podcast. So
tell us about the podcast.
So with my friend, my longtime friend, CJ, and then his cousin Anthony, we are doing a podcast. We're calling it Nerds Assorted.
All right, so hold up. Nerds
Assorted.
Gotcha, okay.
At Nerds Assorted on all the social. And so we are, because all 3 of us have been talking, we'll get into Discord and we'll talk, and like I know the role-playing guides game side, so I start talking about that, and they're both like, oh, cool. Same thing with CJ and like movies and TV. If I need to know something about the Marvel universe, I go to him, and like for the movie universe, and say, hey, you know, what's going on. And then with Anthony, he does like computer stuff all day, computer games, you know, programs, new software. So like most recently the Steam Deck. So which is taking Steam, you know Steam from.
I know the Steam interface well.
And you know what a Switch looks like? Like a Nintendo.
Are we
Switch?
talking about the Nintendo Switch? Yeah. Sure.
They basically took a computer, made it like Switch side. You can actually plug it in. It's like a full computer.
Okay.
It's running. I think it's running like a Linux system, or maybe Anthony put that on there. But really nice, and all of your Steam games that are approved, which they're increasing the list daily, can go with you. So you want to play, you just got the new God of War on Steam. You take that with you. You cruise around.
And do you have to, for this, still have an internet connection?
No. So you can, unless the game requires one.
Okay.
But like, otherwise, no. You can take, God of War anywhere. It comes with that screen on the front. Like, it's super nice. So he's the one who's been telling us all about it.
Wow.
Because and they were really limited on who got them and who's still getting them, I think. So it's just a really cool product. So we're like, hey, let's start up a channel. And then we can just do like little segments and little micro segments about our different interests.
So if you guys you're telling me you've started this or you're doing this?
We have started. So we have started our first episode. I believe is airing. I believe it's on the 15th of this month or the middle.
15th of August. Well, 15th of August is the
It's
middle.
yes.
But it's
So-
also 3 days from now.
Yeah. I believe it was on the 15th, somewhere around there, somewhere 15th or plus or minus a couple days.
Okay, so by the time we get this episode edited, it will probably be up.
Yeah, so then it will probably be up by now.
Okay.
And so so we're excited because it's just kind of something fun to talk about. And I'm trying to go in it the same way I went into this, just like, hey, I'm just gonna hang with my friends and kind of like talk. And nice thing is I always get to learn something new because I don't follow like the Marvel movie universe stuff.
Right.
I have all these other things. I mean, I'd rather look at D&D stuff, but I love it, and so I love hearing about it.
Gotcha. All right. And is this going to be, do you guys envision this is going to be a weekly, a monthly? Do you have any ideas?
I can't remember exactly. I believe we were going to do weekly or every other week. Definitely not monthly, but we were thinking weekly or every other week.
Okay. So one of the things we'll do, tell us the name again.
So Nerds Assorted.
And we'll drop that link in the, what is it called? Because I don't even know.
In the comment section.
In the comment section.
In the information
comment.
section. That's
We're going to drop that link in the information section
down below.
So you can get to that. All right. Good. What else? Is that it?
Yeah, those are kind of the main things happening with me right now.
I feel like we've missed something, but maybe we didn't. So March 2nd was our last Fireside Chat.
So one of the interesting things we have been doing locally is a local Grange, the McKinleyville, the Dallas Prairie Grange.
The Dallas Prairie Grange, right.
They, before COVID, it was really popping. We were starting to get a lot of people for a game night at the Dallas Prairie Game. It was always the last Saturday of each month.
Right.
And
from 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Yep, from 5 to 10.
At the Dallas Prairie Grange.
And it was great because by the end, right before COVID, I think we had like 6 or 7 games going of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, and that was 6 or 7 role-playing games in addition to, for game night, we do board games, we do miniature games, we do card games.
I think there was always Warhammer.
It's everything. There's something to do for everyone.
And of course, COVID happened, so that slowed down. So now that, the society's kind of leveling out in the sense of we're trying to deal with this, we have opened it back up, or we being the community.
The Grange is back open.
The Grange is back open.
Okay, and so what are you getting to do there?
So last time I was going to run D&D. Unfortunately, that time, we're still building up the numbers.
Right.
So we didn't have enough for a full game, but I did get to play in my partner's Dread game.
Okay, so that would be the next question. Yeah. So is NCRP Productions represented there?
Yes, and my partner, Sequoia, is on multiple of these games. And so it was run, and we had a fun little placard showing everybody, hey, this is NCRP, Productions. If you like us, come listen to us. So that was also fun because we got some people asking, like, oh, what's that? Got to send out some business cards.
And the intention, what we're trying to do is get more of our game masters to go up there. We've talked with Dave, who's run a lot of our one-shots. We've talked with Josh, who ran the Wrath and Glory game. Mm-hmm. We've spoken with Ty, who you're going to be getting to hear from soon. We'll tell you about that a little later in the show. And theoretically, I'm supposed to be going up there trying to cut my teeth on one-shots. I don't know how much we've discussed it here, but it's a running joke with NCRP Productions. My one-shots, which are supposed to be, say, 5 hours or less, generally start in at about 50 hours. Mm-hmm. So I need to work on that, and I'm intending to do. So do you have something planned for the next game night? Are you looking at doing something?
So I am. What I was thinking, so for one-shots, and just for me, because I haven't surprisingly successfully made many done much world building myself in the sense of I will start little tiny micro worlds and then just kind of drop it off. But I was thinking it'd be really fun to make like a little slightly bigger micro world and kind of do a West Marches style where they're all one shots, but it's going to be a bunch of little tiny adventures in this town. And I'm not 100% sure on it, but for some reason in my head it sounded fun to have it try and be like Miyazaki inspired, so like Studio
really
Ghibli.
So like Castle Laputa, all these crazy things, walking chicken robots,
just like weird quirky fun stuff, and throw in the little dark mysterious stuff too. But that sounds fun to me because somewhat recently I replayed some Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda, and that has a very big feel of it. So I was like, yeah, that sounds just kind of fun. So I'm trying to find something fun for myself to run and kind of create, while also creating little micro adventures, which I realized one problem I have with creating adventures is I think I forget that while I find goblins boring, not everybody has fought a goblin. And so, I'm like thinking, I'm like, I gotta come up with something better than just like goblins take over a cart or something, when really most people would be fine with goblins taking over a cart. Unless I'm like playing with you, and even then you'd probably sit through it and look for like, okay, well, what's more to this? But trying to come up with little adventures like that.
I will admit to you that I go even smaller than that. My go-to villain is the kobold. And most people that have played, and I haven't played a lot of D&D in the last 25 years plus. I'm not generally playing a whole lot of fantasy. Pugmire was my first step back in. But I really enjoy kobolds a lot.
Kobolds are fun. Have you ever looked at any of the Kobold Press creature codexes?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're coming to the store a lot.
They, of course, with the name, they come up with some really fun kobold things. My favorite that I found was the Swobolg. Have you seen that?
I have not. Tell us about
Barry,
the Swobolg.
Treat yourself and Google that sometime.
Okay.
I want you to imagine something that is kobold size, maybe slightly taller, but they just bulk it out. It's like a walking Arnold Schwarzenegger kobold.
Oh god!
So it's just the Swobolg.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're going after the enemies, with just pure muscle. I
love it.
It's hilarious. I threw it at somebody once, and they were surprised not only at how funny it was, but then getting beat up by them.
So anything else for you going on for you personally? Anything coming in the future?
My biggest thing that I would like to do for the near future, other than make some more content for this, is also working on the Fallout Lost Coast, which we'll talk about that in a little bit more, supplement. So that's also something that I want to kind of work on too a little bit more here.
Well, so maybe we should talk about the supplements and some of the things that are coming as far as changes to our Patreon.
Yes. So coming up, so looking kind of forward, the Patreon, I have been discussing with you as well as a couple, as well as Sequoia and stuff. So discussing about the Patreon, and I think we're going to be doing some reworking.
Okay.
And we're kind of, we're still working on which reworkings, but one of the main ones is we're going to be opening up to the lower tiers, just kind of offering more of our products to the lower tiers, just trying, show off what we've come up with more. And the lowest tier, unfortunately, I was actually wondering, I was like, because they're just like a follow function, but unfortunately the lowest tier is $1. So if you like our stuff and you feel like supporting $1, one of the things coming up that you'll get, we're going to be shifting to the dollar tier, which is the for Jimmy tier. For Jimmy,
yes.
if you haven't listened to Dishonored, go check that out and you'll get that. We're going to be offering the PDFs of our supplements.
So so if you subscribe for $1 for 1 month,
yes,
we're going to actually give you all of the PDFs that we worked so hard on and originally had at the $5 tier.
Yes.
So a $4 savings for 1 month. Okay.
And so right now, two of the ones that you'll get are the Honey Heist one.
Which was your structure and playbook.
So getting to use that for your Honey Heist if you want a pre-built, convention, as well as the Deep the Dark, which is one of Sequoia's first Dread games that they ran for us. So that one also very fun and neat. So yeah, so if you like our stuff and want to subscribe, even if it's for 1 month, just to check out what we got, we'll be doing some reworking. So
all right, and that's just look for us on Patreon, right? NCRP Productions.
NCRP Productions.
Well, with that suggests to me that we're doing some changes, and we're gonna do some podcast updates, kind of get you up to date of where we're at.
Yeah,
it's been 5 months, so
the biggest one.
Yep, we have closed Unhallowed, Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands, our Egypt portion, what we had called Season 3 for reasons that wouldn't make sense to anyone that wasn't actually a part directly of the game, but we did finally finish that. 63 episodes in, over a year of playing.
63 episodes. It was crazy that we've been going that long with that. Right?
Really, it absolutely was, with all the breaks and COVID popping in and out through it, and numbers of our players having mishaps and things come up, and we still got through it. We ended it. Now, it's not completely over, but I need a chance to recharge and get an idea where we want to go next. I'm not going to tell you where we look like we're going, because you should be listening to our podcast for Unhallowed to figure that out. What else do we have for an update?
So coming up, we actually just recently restarted this. So we have Shadowrun coming to an end. By the time this comes out, it will have come to an end of the second season.
Right, Season 2, the final episode will have been up at this point.
Season 2. So we have recently begun starting Season 3.
Season 3. Okay, so we're going to get a third season for Shadowrun. That's going to be Dave running.
Yep. So very, very excited about that. Love Shadowrun and those characters, so I'm excited to be back. Next, we also have Fading Suns. I think we talked about that.
We did.
Before.
We knew
briefly.
it was coming.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the point where we should mention, we are thinking about all of you listeners out there that have talked to us and said, hey, we fell behind. We haven't been able to catch up. Out of the goodness of our hearts, we have decided that the month of September, we are going to give you the chance to catch up. We have no planned content for September, which is not to say that we may not throw something up there, but it's going to give you a chance to finish off those episodes that you haven't. I know for me, when I talk to people online or in the store who are talking about it, especially Alien, they said that they got a few episodes in and then they fell behind and then they just never were able to catch up. Here's your chance. You got a month to do it.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, it just gives you a chance to catch up, and us a chance to just deepen our projects and catch up on making things a little bit better too.
And then what's important, hopefully coming out of that, do I tell them about Fallout, or do you?
Oh no, I'll talk about Fallout. I love it. So we have Fallout. No, we've talked about Fallout. Then we had that trailer come out. I think a year.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So we had that teased for a while. We were working on it. So we have successfully recorded a full season.
Season 1
of Fallout Lost Coast. Bringing our neck of the woods to the Fallout world was a blast for me. I have a ton of notes on it that I am planning to release a full supplement. I'm going to be starting. I want to start posting more on there's a Fallout 2D20 Discord server that I found, fan server that seems pretty big, and so they have a lot of fan-made content on there. So I want to eventually make a presence in there and see if I can get that up there just so people can see, because I think there's a lot of fun little niche things from here that could just really fit well in Fallout. So with Fallout, though, I know I'm going to be putting out the supplement. We're still trying to figure out the full logistics on the season itself.
Okay.
We will be at least releasing the first episode. So we have episode 1 just about ready. There's a couple things that I want to do. I'm thinking within about a month probably of this
releasing. We're taking September off, so maybe as early. I don't know our dates.
Oh, yeah, so that would take... Yeah,
it would be October, and I think we decided officially it's going to take the place of Unhallowed. We're going to have Fallout Fridays.
October... Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it October 23rd.
October 23rd?
October 23rd.
All right. There's got to be a reason.
That's the day the bombs dropped.
Okay. So now is October 23rd a Friday?
I don't know, but I like it. Let's see. That I will sacrifice one Friday.
One episode. First episode.
Yeah, that's fine for me. Because, you said that and I was like, you know what? Okay, Fallout Friday, yes, but that sounds really fun too. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll call that, because the first day that I released that trailer...
Right.
Was October 23rd.
Oh, so one year after.
1 year after.
So October 23rd, whatever day it is, that's going to be the day of release of our first episode. And then we'll go to Fallout Friday. So let me ask you this. Can the listeners expect to see Fallout Friday the next day? If October 23rd happens to be a Thursday, will they get an episode 2 on the Friday?
Ooh.
Or will they have to wait a week?
They will most likely have to wait a week.
Most likely have to wait a week, okay.
We unless I'm feeling real spicy about it, we got to give them something to look forward to.
All right, good. Well, in that case then, I think that's what we have that's coming to the podcast that you're going to get to listen to. Why don't we talk about projects we have upcoming?
Yeah. So I'm excited about. Well, I'm always excited about playing, but one of these I'm really excited about. So I've wanted to play Morkborg for a long time.
Sure.
Haven't found a group or time to play that one. But this new one that we're gonna get to play, Pirate Borg, I'm very excited about because it's gonna be the same aesthetic as Morkborg, but pirates. I love pirates, so this is going to be fun. I'm excited about Pirate Borg.
So there's some crazy stuff that comes with Pirate Borg. Now, it's going to be a few months out before we get it going. We aren't even starting the recording for a little while now. But Pirate Borg comes to us. We had a couple of fans approach us and ask, hey, we really like what you guys are doing. We would like to be part of it. One asked to Game Master, one asked to play. So we have new blood starting to come to NCRP Productions, and that first one that you're going to get to hear, at least in the Game Master's position, is going to be Pirate Borg. Now, from what I understand, Morkborg's been out for a while now.
Yes.
It has one expansion officially.
Yeah.
There's a second one in the works. Pirate Borg was kickstarted. It was put out there. I believe if everything works based on, they took my money already, I'm expecting that we're going to have Pirate Borg in hand, so instead of playing from a PDF, which I personally hate, we will be playing from printed copies of the game.
Nice.
And I have no idea what to expect, but as far as a lead-in, I'm very excited to try this.
Have you taken a chance to, or have you got a chance to look through, like, Pirate Borg or Morkborg?
I have looked a little through
Yeah.
Morkborg. I got to watch one of our favorites to listen to, Glass Cannon, do their Morkborg, or as Troy was saying, Morkberet. We've got that out there. I was described a little bit about Pirate Borg and what it was, and I thought it was a completely different game in a completely different setting, just using the same rules. And then I think it was you that told me, no, there's pirates in the base game spoken of.
Was there? Actually, I don't know if that was me.
So maybe it wasn't you.
It wasn't. I don't think that was me.
That is my understanding. In the
Is it
base
in the
book,
same-
they talk about pirates.
That might be. I
on
want
the
to go
sea.
back and look tonight.
Right?
I
Little
wouldn't
homework
be
for you.
surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, man, because the world, the way they were able to in Morkborg give so little but make it so much is amazing. Though that's when you could tell a game is good, when so few words can just make you go, "Holy crap!"
And I'm excited for that one.
That one's gonna be great. Another one. So I'm actually not in this one, but I'm excited to get to listen to it. Star Wars.
Yeah, this is the first one where you're not in it, which is very, very weird. Let me tell you, as we're recording it each time, I look to you. You tend to run the computer and the mics and everything, and I look to you and I'm like, oh, Pedro's not there. But we have a Star Wars game. We have it being run again by a new person. This is somebody who came and joined us. We had always talked about doing more Star Wars since you and Steve and I did Jess's.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
You guys are doing Fantasy Flight too?
We are doing the Fantasy Flight,
Cool.
the current Star Wars. Our Game Master Dave has chosen to allow us to use any of the 3 books.
Nice.
So you may see characters from Edge of Empire, Age of Rebellion, or Force and Destiny. And we've gotten it going. I'm very excited where it's going. I think Dave has a wonderful grasp on the, not specifically Fantasy Flight, but the Star Wars universe. When I hear him speak and what he lays out for us, I can see it in my mind's eye as I play. And then he has a strong grasp of the game system, so we're not constantly looking in the book, which is wonderful.
There's a I would say a good learning curve to that, in the sense that the system, once you realize it, is all it's doing is utilizing the GM tools you were already using, just in a very explicit way.
Sure.
But it works perfect. Once you just finally absorb it and you're like, oh my god, it's great for game masters and for also kind of learning improv too, because you really have to look at those and the next moment be like, oh, okay, so they succeeded, but there's a complication and
Exactly.
like, all this stuff. You already do that, but now it kind of gives you like a layout and kind of takes some of it away from you and helps you focus. So I'm excited to hear that.
So the other one that I have, and I'm gonna put you on stage for this one. I'm very excited about the possibility that we may get the Pedro run portion of Pugmire coming somewhere in the future. I have not gotten to run my character since Dave ran. and I'm excited to bring him back. Riggs needs a reintroduction.
I know. I had a story in my head, and then I remember I had talked to you about it, and I had realized that it dipped a lot farther into sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's neat, so I'm gonna write it into to our little world book, just as like a, hey, if you guys want to use this kind of thing. But then I was like, okay, I can't do that one, so let's think of a different one. And then I keep waffling, because what I think I might want to tackle is the Honey Badger War, or the Badger War.
The Badger Wars,
War.
We haven't heard about that since our first session.
I think it'd be fun, but then like part of me is like, am I gonna run like a fantasy trench war kind of game? Am I gonna send you guys out to find some magical weapon to say? I keep expanding too much, and I'm like, I don't know what to run, and then my mind keeps going, and because I played a lot of those games, I always want to know about why are these ancient objects, this ancient tech, which is actually super advanced, working. I just want to keep going into that, so I keep shoving it to sci-fi instead of fantasy.
Okay.
And so I'm keep trying to focus it, but it keeps going to sci-fi because I love sci-fi.
And I think Pugmire has that beautiful mix of the sci-fi world that is overlaid with fantasy, similar to the Shannara world, a little bit of the Robert Jordan world for Wheel of Time, and it's easy to do. I mean, if you remember in the one that I ran, I'm not going to tell you where you guys were, but it shouldn't be that hard for you to figure out the vast majority of the things you saw, necessarily which city, but what portion where you were. And I think that is the sci-fi piece of it. And a lot of what I did, I wrote as sci-fi and then kind of cycled it back to making it hopefully feel more like fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, remember, there was like a few things that after I figured out what you were describing, I was like, duh. But then in the game, you did a really good job of being like, I think it was a bundle of straws I just could not wrap my head around. And then I think I had to be like, Barry, what the fuck was that? And you said bundle of straws, and I felt like an idiot.
Right?
But it was because I'm like, it was my stupid dog. Just like, I don't want to look at this right now.
Well, so we have that sitting out there as well. I don't know what else we have really that's, beyond just the basic, we've discussed it. We found out that Ty, who is hopefully going to be running for us Primeval, he has gotten a job and has moved away from us, sadly, and he may show up again, and we may get him on here to run for us, but that one's been pushed by the wayside.
Congrats, Ty.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Yeah. He's doing great from everything we hear.
Sad that you had to leave us, but
I agree.
Congrats on that.
Getting a job.
Yeah.
And Michael has talked about our second season of Dishonored. And,
yes.
And really, honestly, if I'm to be honest, the issue with that is just getting the time to do it. One of the other things that's happened to me that maybe I should have said at the beginning is I joined the Masons, and that is taking a portion of my time as well. And it just seems like every year there's more things taking my time. I don't know if you feel this way.
Yeah, no, I do.
More things taking my time away from me so that I don't have the ability to do the things I want gaming. And so we're hoping, we've talked with Michael. Now, Michael, we don't really talk about him a lot, not for any other reason than we just haven't, but he also got a position change, similar to what you had in the last time we spoke, and that has also taken some of his time. And Michael is very beloved on the internet RPGs, so he's always in something there, which a lot of times when we have free time, he doesn't. But Dishonored, I know, is one of the things sitting out there, but I think that's maybe it.
Yeah. Other than, like, I'm sure some little micro games are going to pop up.
Oh, they will.
But other than that, that's about all we got planned.
Okay. So, well, Pedro, here we are running to the end of this, and I'm curious, do you have anything else you'd like to do?
I got something new. I told you I had a little secret.
Okay.
So I was thinking, like, what would be a fun little thing to kind of end these with? And I thought, with the number of games we've run, I'm sure there's been a bunch of scenarios that have been crazy. And I always love finding creators that have, like, tips for scenarios and game running. And we've done that before on this.
We have. We've taken whole sessions.
So I thought we'd do, like, a little quick tip at the end, just like a little fun, like, anecdotal, like, little tip that we can just throw out there for the listeners.
Quick tip.
All right, starting the new ending segment, NCRPG tips.
NCRPG tips. Okay.
That's right. So, the tip that I have is, folks, if you're running a game and you want to put some magic in there, I recommend it. But be very careful what you say has a high-level magic enchantment on them. Because even if you think it's something innocuous, players latch onto that, and especially if they're lower level, they're going to try and figure out probably what use they could have.
I feel like, Pedro, there's a story behind that.
And
Tell us the story.
It. So I hope you guys are listening. So this was a game of Dragon Heist, and
this is the Wizards of the Coast
Waterdeep
setting.
Waterdeep. That's it. Yeah. It's the so super fun game. It's all urban. The basic plot is, and how this game started, is that these guys get roped into owning a dilapidated bar, and the adventure is a mix of rebuilding the bar and getting tied into one of, I think it's 4 different villains. And so I got to have fun picking out which villain and all that. But they got to a point where they're doing some side quests for different factions you get to do. They have a whole number of them. This was supposed to be just a fun little side adventure. Of course, I decided to spice it up a little bit.
As you do.
Yeah. And so the base adventure was they had to go out, and I think it was for the Grey Knights, or anyway, it was for the city. They had to go out and talk to a young gold dragon that has been reported in the bay. And so they just need to go and like kind of shoo it off, find out if it's there for any good reason. So the base adventure just said that, and that's it. So then I found something that kind of gave some more tips, and the adventure was they had to go down and enter into a ship that the dragon couldn't get into because there was an enchantment on the hull. Okay? You see, there's an enchantment.
Okay.
And so they go in, it's fine, and they're coming out, but they get curious, and they say, well, wait, there's an enchantment on this. Well, can we cast, detect magic? And this was like, that was not part of the adventure, so I was just like throwing things out. And so, they succeeded really well with their role, and they were like, okay, so there's magic, and I didn't know which school at the time, so I was like, yeah, there's magic on there, and it's really strong. It doesn't blow in from the outside, but it does from the inside, so you notice that. And they're like, well, what kind of magic? And I'm like, I don't have a plan, but it's a high-level magical enchantment. Just know that.
Okay.
And so then I saw the twinkle in a couple of their eyes, and I'm like, oh, shit. And so they go out, and they're like, wait, we have this gold dragon. There's a bunch of ships that have been destroyed here. Pedro, is there a salvaging guild? There's not a salvaging guild. Mm. And they were like, well, wait, guys, if we get the dragon, we could start a salvaging guild, and we can raise this up. How much is this thing's worth? Because if these planks are still good, we could set a high-level magical enchantment. And I'm just like, oh, no. So the fun of it is I got to learn a little stuff. I had to go and read the, Dungeons and Dragons Advanced, a book on Waterdeep, to find out the guild structures and the cost of ships, because Salt Marsh wasn't out at the time. But the downside was then I had to figure all this stuff out and be like, okay, well, they're going to start a whole guild. Who's going to get pissed off at that?
Salvage guild.
It went from they have to build up this bar to now we're going to have the bar and a salvaging guild. So it was really cool. But if you're not planning on doing something insane, be careful what you call a high-level magical.
You said it as a tip, but now I'm thinking that the tip sounded like you were saying don't do it. But boy, that sounds like that just made the game even better.
It could, yeah, it did. But it depends on what you're gonna say is better, I guess. Because it
more
did
work
make
for you.
It did make it better. But then I was like, oh man, yeah, it did make a lot more work of having to figure that out. But now I know some more of the structure of the guilds in Waterdeep.
Okay,
which
all right.
I do put on my resume, by the way.
This is knowing the structure of guilds in Waterdeep.
If you need a D&D game run.
All right. Well, Pedro, I think we'll probably leave it at that. Yep. There was our NCRPG tip number 1.
That's right. All right, look for more.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and getting this done with me again. I know for you folks out there, 5 months is too long. We're going to try and fix that, make it a little bit quicker next time. But from me, Barry, have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening all from Pedro.
All right. Take care.
Later.
Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. To stay on top of everything we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. all at NCRP Productions. You can show your support and help us continue to produce content by joining our Patreon. We offer additional podcasts like our B-Sides and have GM materials, maps, and other fun things you can discover over time. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, and many other fine podcast sites. Just look for us at NCRP Productions. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave us feedback or comments. And if you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.